Hey, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of B&B's Football Happy Hour. As always, I am Bobby with my man Brian. Say hello, Brian.
What's going on? Glad to be back.
And we are joined with a member of the Maryland State Athletic Hall of Fame, former first-team All-ACC selection, former collegiate All-American, a semifinalist for the Buckus Award, which is the nation's top linebacker, a collegiate national champion with the Florida State Seminoles, a second-round pick in the 2001 NFL Draft, a six-year NFL veteran while playing linebacker for the St. Louis Rams, the Baltimore Ravens, and the New Orleans Saints, Tommy Polley. How you doing, Tommy?
Hey, what's up, buddy? Man, thanks for having me. It was a couple accolades in there. Appreciate it.
Dude, no,
Sure probably could have named a few more. They might have been just the top ones. I think you missed a few.
You missed a few, but it's all good. They can Google.
No. Yeah. Here's the deal. I'm sitting here doing some research for the show, and I'm like, all right, I start going through these things. And I'm like, okay, well, Tommy Polley, he had 200 tackles and 16 sacks his senior year of high school alone. That's like 20 tackles a game. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Then he was the Maryland Defensive Player of the Year his junior and senior year of high school. He was the Maryland Athlete of the Year in all sports his senior year. Like, good grief. Oh, well, he won 2 state titles in football. That's cool. He was also a top 60 prospect in the country for basketball and won 4 state titles in basketball. I mean, come on, dude. Well, you leave a little for the rest of us, man.
Man, it should have been more, man. I wanted to be greedy. I lost two national championships, and I went to the Super Bowl and lost that as well. So it should have been even more. I mean, just
you poor thing.
Play here, there.
You poor
play
thing.
here, there.
And I feel so bad for you.
Yeah, man. You were when I was doing my research too, man, I came across that basketball stat. It said you averaged 20 points, 11 boards, and 8 assists, man. That's like Magic Johnson stats right there, dude.
I like to share the ball. I was on my LeBron thing back then.
It's pretty good stats. All right, man, I want to jump right into it now. Bobby mentioned, some of your time at Florida State. You said you played in 3 straight national championships, in 99 against Tennessee, 2000 against some guy named Mike Vick, and in 2001 you played Oklahoma. So, just recount some of the memories from those 3 national championships games. And just talk a little bit about playing in so many meaningful games at your time at Florida State.
I mean, that's why you came to Florida State. You wanted to play in big games, so you wanted to go to Florida State and be a part of that. That's why I went there to play with great players, play with great coaches, and things like that. So and that's what happened. When I was there, we'd only lost, I think, 5 games. Altogether, we never lost a home game. So it was a great time, but it was why I went to Florida State. At that time they was 5 straight years of 10 straight years of top 5 finishes. So I mean, it was a lot going on. So basically that's why I went there, man. Just try to win. I didn't want to go anywhere. I had other schools like Maryland and Syracuse and things like that, but I wanted to go somewhere where we was going to pay for all the marbles.
That was one thing I never understood, because being from Maryland myself, is the University of Maryland doesn't seem to recruit and get the top talent from the state. And I have no idea why, whether it's basketball, football program. They're always recruiting out of state, trying to get down to Florida and stuff. But there's a lot of talent that comes from Maryland. Why don't they get the homegrown kids?
You got to lock them in, man. What I mean by lock them in, man, when you rank, a Power 5, 5-star type of kid coming out, man, you got to do what it takes. So if that means you got to break a couple rules under the table to get guys in, I mean, that's what you got to do. Let's be 100% here now. We're not acting like Alabama and the other big schools and don't, bend the rules a little bit to get the guys they want. So I always said that about Maryland. You got the Under Armour people right here. You got all that. Now they did it for Diggs. They got him in there, but they got to do more of that. They got to spread the wealth, whatever that may look like.
Yeah, man.
All right. So lots of athletes and everyday people, they're faced with some serious obstacles in their life. You yourself tore your ACL less than 8 months before your senior year. And, whether it's a torn ACL or having some struggles with money or, whatever it is, whatever the obstacle in your life is, what advice do you have to help folks to get that right mindset to overcome those difficult times that they face? Because you came back better than ever from a torn ACL, could have ended your career, but not you. You had that mindset. So what's some advice you have for folks?
I mean, the main thing is, you got to work hard and, you got to remain positive. And I think during that time, I just always remained positive. I never got discouraged. I did everything the trainers asked me to do. And that's how the mindset you got to take, that you're going to get back. I had another guy that tore his knee up the same time I did in the Virginia Tech game, and he never got back just because his mind wasn't right. He was complaining all the time, not working out hard as he's supposed to, and he never got back right. Well, I got back in 7 months. So it's just a matter of, it's mental toughness, just maintaining a positive attitude throughout the whole time, because it is hard, and you are disappointed, and you are wondering if you're going to get back. And it's hard, and work hard and listen to the trainers, and I mean, you'll get back. But it's not an easy process. You just got to keep working, grinding every day to get back.
Yeah, man. I know you came back your senior year, and I know you had I guess you became an All-American your senior year. You had 100 tackles. Another great year. So yeah, man, that really speaks to your work ethic there. That's pretty good to come back from that injury like that.
Now, yeah, man. I don't think I had a choice though. It was either that or go home to Baltimore with nothing. So got to get back.
Yeah. So following your senior year, Bobby mentioned you get drafted in the second round, the 42nd pick by the St. Louis Rams, and at that time they were the greatest show on turf. So I mean, you had to be pretty excited to go to a squad like that. So just I know it was probably your dream as a college football player and a young kid to get drafted. So just walk us through that whole draft process a little bit, and what's one thing that really sticks out in your mind, during that time as a senior at Florida State, and then just getting drafted into the NFL?
I mean, it was everything I prepared for. I had been watching guys like Sam Coward and Henry Crockett and players like that get drafted before me that I played with at Florida State. So watching those guys do pro days and go through the process only prepared me, because I mean, I just followed everything they did, and they talked about what, the good stuff and the bad stuff, the things to look out for. So when you have Florida State, guys going pro at that time, they was going by the drove. So you just followed that path, and you kind of was ready for the process. So for me, I was kind of ready for the process, ready for the grind, and I kind of aced it.
Yeah, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
So one thing that I thought was interesting when I was reading up on you, and, we had mentioned that you were a top 60 prospect in basketball, and you actually walked on to the basketball team at Florida State your freshman year, but you didn't stay real long. And I saw a quote from you that you went to Florida State to play football because they have a winning attitude. You said they were 45-5 during your time there. That is incredible. Mm-hmm. But the basketball team lacked a winning attitude. And I think people see this all the time in no matter what type of business or work or, athletics they're in. I know as a track and field coach, I was a head track and field coach in Maryland, and I had a group of girls who would kill to beat anyone else on the track with them. In 2010, we won a Maryland State championship. Well, during their junior, senior years, we had a group of freshman girls come in who were very talented, but it was like that. They just came in and they didn't have that winning attitude. They were okay finishing fourth. They were okay finishing fifth. And so by the time we had the talent to really succeed, but by the time those I always called them my horses, those girls that would refuse to lose, by the time they were gone, I got this new group of girls who's real talented, but they just didn't have that winning attitude. So I think that is everywhere in all walks of life. How can that be fixed? And I know you're a coach and you've coached before. Is it an administration thing, way up there in the front office? Is it a head coach thing? Players? Is it everything encompassing? How do you fix that and breed a winning attitude in your program?
I mean, you just got to, like, my thing is the standard is the standard. So from day one, I set a standard of excellence. Our effort is going to be max effort. We're going to do things the right way. And if you don't, you're going to get disciplined. So that's how I coach. And when I was at Florida State trying on the basketball team, I didn't see a consistent message of winning. It was, we just trying to make it to the tournament. Where I came from, at Dunbar, we was want to win states. It was, and then practicing at Florida State, it was win the national championship. It wasn't anything less than that. So the head coach, Kennedy, say, "Oh, we just trying to make it to the tournament." It was like, whoa, like, what is that? And we had players, ain't like we had Randall Jackson, Corey Lewis, those guys was Lamar Greer, they was McDonald's All-Americans. I mean, so it ain't like we didn't have talent. So it was like and then when you in practice, I mean, I coach all my kids the same way. You know, we got star players, we got not so much, but if you coach them all hard and you give them all the same energy, even if they doing good or bad, everybody will respect that. Well, I seen that at Florida State basketball. It was like they play favorites. All right, don't yell at him, don't talk to him, or we gonna talk to you. So it was like I don't roll like that. If somebody mess up, I'm gonna say something. That just always how I roll. That's how I was at Dunbar, and that's how I was on the football team. If somebody messed up, one doing what they supposed to, the players got on each other. Well, in the basketball, it was like, you don't say nothing. And I'm looking like, huh? You know what? It's time for me to go because that ain't a winning culture. And
it's a tough environment to be in.
Yeah. And they made the tournament in a couple of years, but they didn't play to their talents that they had. So, I mean, I just thought it was best for me to cut my losses and go ahead and concentrate on football, which I kind of knew at that time was going to be my moneymaker anyway.
I think it worked out for you.
Yeah, I think that was a good choice. Now, I'm a big college football guy. I mean, I love my NFL, but I love some college football too. So I'd hate myself if I didn't ask you about a little Florida State versus Miami. Now, I know you guys kind of handled them when you were at Florida State. I think you were 3-1 versus the Hurricanes during your time there. But, I mean, just talk a little bit about that game, man, and just how much does it mean to win that game every year? Just talk a little bit about that rivalry.
I mean, it's a big rivalry. Florida, Miami, anytime you get to play those games, the scouts are going to be looking at them because there's a lot of talent out there. So you always want to put on your best foot forward. It's going to be a national primetime game and all your friends and family is going to be at home watching it. So you wanted to make some plays. So it was, everything that you was, you wanted. You came to Florida State to play in the big games against Miami and Florida and University of Florida, the Gators. So, you just, you got excited and you try to do your thing. So, I always love playing. I always made plays against both of those teams. I mean, it just –
yeah, man.
It just, you got to make a play.
I hear you. Yeah, man. I was watching some YouTube stuff that I could find, man, and you were pretty scary out there, dude. Even as a younger guy, man, you had the mustache and everything, man. You were like a grown ass man out there, bro. At like 19, 20 years old, I was like, man, that's one guy. He had the neck brace on. I was like, man, I wouldn't want to see that guy out on the field.
Hey, that's crazy. You said I was just looking at something for me in high school, man. I had the whole full goatee filled in and all that, man. That's what I was looking like, man, I'm old out there.
Yeah,
boy. I look like LeBron James old.
Yeah. I think you posted something on Facebook, like a video, and I was like, damn, he looks like he's like, I don't know. He had the full goatee, the mustache. He's like 25 years old, but it said he's in high school. I was like, damn, I wouldn't want to run across that dude, man, for sure.
Yeah.
We got to check that birth certificate, man.
Hey, trust me, I got a lot of them in AAU during that time. They check them birth certificates every trip.
If you're rocking the goatee in high school, man, you better carry that thing around with you.
Man, trust me. Hey, look, my 8th and 9th grade year, we had another guy on my team. My AAU team, and he had the full beard. He had all this. He had the whole. Trust me, everywhere we went, birth certificates automatic.
Yeah, you might as well just hold them up.
Yeah.
Oh man! So one thing you said in an interview I read, and it really hit home for me because I felt like it was almost me speaking and making a statement. You had said that kids and adults alike, they have a huge sense of entitlement nowadays. And being a coach, I'm a teacher. That's my real job. And I see it constantly every day where folks, be it 6 years old or, 66 years old, they really feel like everybody owes them something and they should get something for nothing. And I found that to be difficult coaching, and I find it difficult when I see it in my students at school. So how can we, because again, I know you're a coach, break that mindset so that, people get back in that working mindset that you got to work for what you get, like you did.
Man, I stress effort, man. That's the main thing I stress is effort, man. When you play for me, if you're not running, you can't play for me. Like, if you're not max effort, you can't play for me. So, and then I put them on the spot. If you're not doing what I'm asking you to do on the film, I'll point you out. I mean, I guess I kind of embarrass you, put you on the spot type of thing. And I just put them on the spot, and it's always a constant put them on the spot, letting them know where they messed up at or where they went wrong at, and nothing's given. And if you treat everybody on your team like that, everybody got to earn their spot. If everybody do their job, then that's when you everybody will buy into that team thing and not want something given to them. So that's why I try to do, make everybody work for it and try to just live to that. Even though I got a player that's better than another guy, you still try to treat them the same way that you'll treat the lesser guy. And but everybody earns their spot. And how I do things, I grade everything. I mean, I grade the game. I grade practice, things like that. So they always know where they stand at and where they could get better at. So it ain't no miscommunication or misconception about, where they stand at. Because if you're not doing good, it's going to be a minus right there. And we could talk about it, the play, and then we can see what the standard was. Was you running to the ball? Did you change your speed? Things like that. Did you do your assignment? And pretty much once we go through all that, they pretty much agree with me that I could have. I could be a little better on that play. So it's a whole nother standard, man. Whatever the standard is, keeping it there.
Man, I could not love that more. And I don't know if you heard, but we have an election coming up in like a month. Do you care if I write you in? We can make everybody earn their spot. Come on, man. It's country. We'd be all right. Let's do it.
Yeah, man, I don't want none of that. You can have that, man. This country crazy. I don't know. My head be spinning that today. Left, right. I don't know.
Oh, man.
I hear you.
That's tough. Now, you spent 6 years in the NFL, which is pretty much double the average career of an NFL guy. But then when you're finished playing football, I mean, you're still a pretty young guy. I mean, I'm sure you're probably less than 30 years old when you finish playing football. I mean, what's it like handling the transition from being a professional athlete to that next journey in life?
Oh, it's tough, man. Don't let nobody else tell you different, man. You've been playing something for 25, 20 years, and every day you got a routine, you got a schedule, you got things planned, and then all of a sudden there's nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not an easy transition. I don't care if you Jerry Rice or Marshall Faulk, whoever you are. I mean, to all the way down to me. I mean, it's still a transition going out of the game because you miss the locker room, you miss all that routine and stuff. But after about a year, man, it take about a year or two to get over it. I ain't gonna lie. Then you get out your stupor and then get back on your feet and trying to transition, find out what you're going to do. And then once you find out, I always wanted to work with kids. So that's what I just wind up doing, is giving back to the youth. And that's what I still do this day. That's what I enjoy.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Being a teacher, and I'm an elementary school teacher, elementary PE teacher. I love hearing that, man. I love hearing about folks. And actually another guy, Calvin Williams, he went to Dunbar from Baltimore in the 80s. He was on our show a few weeks ago. We had him on, and Calvin. Yeah, he did the same thing. After football was over, he came back to Baltimore as a PE teacher for a couple of years. So, man, I love hearing that. But
I met him at Purdue. He was working at Purdue. We had took some kids up there for a football camp. Is he still up there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the assistant athletic director. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we took kids up there about 5-6 years ago, maybe longer than that. A couple of kids actually in the professionals now. A couple of the kids playing. So I've talked. That's the last time I seen Calvin, a few years ago.
Yeah, he's doing great, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now through your career, obviously you had a lot of great moments. Now one of them, and I'm talking single plays. One of them was blocking a punt in a national championship game that your boy returned it for a touchdown. Another one I know, I'm pretty sure you had a pick six of Brett Favre in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So what is you if you had to pick one signature play for you in your career? Maybe it's one of those, maybe it's something different. One play, what's your signature play?
I had a few of them.
That's good.
I'm going to say in college, it probably was the block punt. That was probably the signature play where everybody probably remember about all the Seminoles and things like that. And then, like you say, for the Rams, it probably was the pick six, against Brett Favre in the playoff, because the playoff game, we routed them. And I would say those two plays, but, I had a couple plays out of, here there, but I would say those two plays for sure.
Well, those are definitely big ones, my friend.
Now,
Yeah, they was big ones. It was just, you know, the other one against the Brett Favre was kind of lucky grand hitter that I caught it and seen the running back skills come back in. and and then
like riding a bike, man. They never leave. You just got to break them out every now and then.
And then, you know, I always believe in special teams. You know, that's a big part of the game, 2/3 of the game. So, you know, that's what we basically won the game by, you know, beating them in special teams. We beamer balled them.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
What was it like out there playing against Michael Vick? I mean, I know he's a fast dude, but I mean, at that time he was kind of like a new version of a quarterback, I would say. So, I mean, I know Florida State always has that speed. You guys were quick, but I mean, he was a freshman, so I mean, I would assume that was a pretty intense, you know, time of practice and trying to, you know, prepare for that game.
Well, you can't emulate that. You can't emulate no Mike Vick in practice. I don't care who you have out there. Ain't nobody emulating that guy. That guy's special.
Yeah.
He hurt my knee that game. I don't know if y'all watched the documentary with Michael Vick said when he played us in the national and all that, and he said he broke the master couple knee ACLs up. He popped a couple ACLs. He was talking about me and that. I like, Lord.
What a jerk!
He popped a couple ACLs.
Yeah. You guys got the win though, so it's all good.
Yeah, we got the win. We one thing about Florida State, we never quit. You know, we play hard all the way through the whistle, all the way to the end of the game. So he was, you know, at the beginning of the game, he was making his plays, but we kept on laying that boom on him by the end of the game.
Yeah, man.
He gave it up. He wasn't fighting no more at the end because we just kept coming.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
So I got one more thing. I want to get you fired up before we get you out of here, because I already know what your answer is going to be. Tell us how you feel about these tic-tac personal fouls and these roughing the passer calls that we get in today's NFL compared to back when you played, where if my hand barely touched a QB's helmet, I got 15 yards, they might toss me out of the game. How you feel about those?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I put a couple films up with little videos, old school videos up with me, and that's what people said, man, that's a legal hit right now. That's all I knew was hit you in the head. I ain't know nothing else. Hit you in the head.
That's
hit
right.
You in the head. But right now I teach my guys to keep their head out of it, hit with your shoulder. That's just the time we playing in. So you got to adjust to the rules. And that's what I teach. Adjust to the rules. Keep your head out of it. I mean, I wish you could go in there and knock the mess out of them, but unfortunately you can't.
Tough,
so
man.
you just try to play. I mean, it's tough especially in the pros. In college and in high school, they don't play that hard yet. They ain't in the pros where everything moving at 1,000 miles an hour and everybody fast and strong. It's a little different then. But in college and pros, you can kind of. I mean, in college and high school, you can kind of finesse it a little bit, get your head out of there, so you won't just get the knockout hit.
Yeah, man. I still don't agree.
Just get them on the ground.
I still don't agree with the whole college deal, man. And in the NFL, I mean, it is what it is. You get the penalty, but in college with the whole, 15-yard penalty, and then those guys are getting ejected from the game and stuff like that.
I believe somebody got thrown out the game in the NFL like a couple weeks ago for a hit like that.
Harrison Smith, last week or 2 weeks ago, Harrison Smith was a Vikings safety.
Yeah, so they starting to throw guys out, but in college, it's
right away. Yeah, man.
You out of here. You already know.
Yep.
That's tough. I guess my last one for you is I always liked Bobby Bowden, man. So give us a little bit of memory of what you have of him playing for him and maybe a story of Bobby Bowden.
I think the story, I like, Coach like to tell you is, Coach Bowden is, great. He was a great coach, a disciplinarian coach, players coach. Mm-hmm. But the story I have, when I played Coach Bowden, he was old. He was, 60, 70 something. So I think it's like my second year, I'm walking off the field from practice, and he just riding by on the golf course, and he told me, get in the cart, and ride with him. So he just told me happy, he was happy I chose Florida State and I was playing well and doing well. But I was just happy he knew my name. So when he said, Polley, I'm glad you're here and glad you're a part of this program, you're doing well, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, that meant the world to me. That meant I feel like I can, tackle anybody, I can make any play and run through a wall for the guy. So I was just happy he just knew my name because a lot of guys, he forgot their name because he didn't coach so many players.
Yeah, that's good
Man, that's
stuff.
such a great story because especially someone who is a coach, and, we have a lot of coaches out there that listen to the show and everything. You never know what kind of impact you have. Maybe he remembers that conversation, maybe he doesn't, but that was something probably so small to him and so huge for you. That is the one. You played for the guy for what, 4 years? And that's the number one story for you. And it's such a little thing for him, and it made such a huge impact for you. That's great.
Yeah, and that's like I said, that's why I went to Florida State to play with a great coach, and Coach Bowden. The other school I had in mind, was Florida, the Gators, right? So it's a quick story before we go. So I'm on signing day. So I'm calling the schools on signing day to tell them I'm not coming. So Florida was one of them. So I called old Steve Sperry. Hey, Steve, I ain't coming. I'm going to Florida State. He go, you'll probably be a better basketball player anyway. Hung the phone up on me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You should have gave him the old Seminole chop after you played.
Don't worry about it. I did him in every year we played them. 3-1.
You should have chopped him up, baby.
One lucky win on me.
Yeah. You got to chop him up after
man,
that.
what a sore loser he was. Good grief.
Hey, that's the old ball coach.
The old head ball coach, man.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, you're the man, Tommy Polley. We appreciate you so much coming on. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for having me on. And everybody, I got a podcast too.
Yeah.
Players Talk Live. If y'all want to, any listeners out there want to listen to it, and we are basically a player development podcast. We try to help families and student athletes reach their full potential, whatever that may be.
Yes, sir.
Where can we find it?
Players Talk Live. You can find it on all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Okay.
All that good stuff.
All right, man. We'll share that. We'll share that to our Facebook page, and I'm sure we'll have a few people follow it. I'll start listening to it and everything else. I appreciate you for coming on.
All right, buddy. Appreciate y'all.
All right, man.
Yep.
Take it easy. Have a good night.
All right. Yep.
All right, man. Another good interview. Good stuff.
What an athlete.
Yeah, man. Yeah, when I was looking it up, I was like, the football stats are one thing, and then you start looking into the basketball stuff, and I'm like, damn, this guy probably could have made the damn NBA. You know what I mean? Like,
how do you have 200 tackles in a season?
I don't know.
In high school, 16 sacks.
Yeah, man. I guess he had that goatee power. I guess he was a grown man out there, man. He was a stud.
Man,
yeah, I mean, he's been posting some videos on Facebook, some old highlights and everything else, and I think he had a high school one on there, and I was like, geez, this guy just running around the field like a maniac. Just he looked like he was in the NFL playing against little kids, just throwing them all around.
And people would kill for a state championship. He has 6.
Yep, 6. And then talk about that. I mean, he went to – when I was reading up on him, I thought it said he had went to 2 back-to-back national championships. But then when I looked at it in 99, I mean, he went to 3 straight because that game in 99 was a national championship game against Tennessee. So, I mean, 3 straight national championships, and then he gets drafted and plays in the Super Bowl his rookie year with the Rams. That was a pretty good 4 or 5 years he had going on there. I mean, that's pretty wild.
Man,
guy's a winner. Guy's a winner,
no
man.
Kidding. Good grief.
Wow.
And it's a shame that, he retired because he hurt his shoulder.
Yeah.
And I think it was the 2006 season. And then nobody picked him up the next year. He retired.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shame. You got somebody that athletic and with those many gifts, man.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he still had a pretty good NFL career. I mean, 6 years isn't
oh my gosh, yes.
It's pretty good for a linebacker. I mean, I think
more than half a decade.
Yeah, man. I think the NFL average for guys is 3 years, so he kind of doubled that up. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't complain about. I'm sure he probably would have wanted to play a little bit longer, but I mean, when you look at it, I think he had a pretty good. He had a good run at it there for football, man. Yeah, nice guy too. Good stuff.
All right, bud. Well, this was another great interview.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully, everyone out there enjoyed it. Again, obviously, with everything else, all of our shows, they'll be on YouTube, so like and subscribe there, and all those other platforms: Spotify, Pandora, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Podbean, literally anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to listen to us now. So you have to pick one. Before, I mean, I could see if it was like Facebook and maybe one other one, but I mean, it's pretty hard not to listen at some point here.
Alexa and Google, when they can do it for you, man, you're good.
All you gotta do is talk, and it'll come on.
There you go. All right, brother.
Man. We'll see you next week.
See ya.